Hey guys, I'm Sam Cole and this is Maxie and welcome to today's video. I thought today would be a good time just to do a little fun sit down video. I am a sucker for a good cover. I know that you're not supposed to judge books by their cover, but I would be lying if I said that that's not exactly what I do. And so I thought it would be fun if we do a little game of all the books that I've read this year, and if they have alternate UK covers, we can look at both of them and decide which one we like more. So I made a fun little slideshow we can do together and decide which covers we like the best. Okay, so the first book that I read this year was Crying in H Mart, and I absolutely loved this book. It was so good and so touching, and I sobbed. So that's really all you need to know. But on the left for all of these is going to be the US cover, and then the UK cover is on the right. And for this one, I personally think I like the US version better. I think I have a bit of sentimentality with this one because this is the cover that I read. The other one's really good, but I just feel like that image of the two pairs of chopsticks sharing the meal together is really impactful. So I think the US cover wins on this one. Okay, and then we have Tender as the Flesh, which was a very disturbing dystopian horror book that I read at the beginning of this year, and it was good. It was something. It was definitely one of my favorites, but I know it's not for everyone. I don't really like the UK cover. I don't know, I just really love the devil horn or the bull horns on the left one, especially with the comparisons of people to animals in this book and the meat industry. I think that the left one is more impactful in my opinion with that. Next up we have The Song of Achilles. I have the one on the left, and I really like this cover. I think it's really pretty. I love how it's textured, at least on my version. The mask is a little bit raised, but I have seen pictures of the UK cover and I do think it's just gorgeous. So honestly, I would love having either of these. If I had to choose, I mean, I already own the one on the left and it wasn't my favorite book of all time, so I don't feel the need to have another copy. So, but objectively, I think I've seen prettier covers, prettier versions of the UK one, and so I'd probably go with that. Okay, and then also by Madeline Miller we have Circe, which I enjoyed a lot more than Song of Achilles. And again, these covers are just stunning. The UK cover for this one that I have on here is not very indicative of what it really looks like. I think that the UK cover is definitely my favorite. It's just so stunning, and the colors and the gold foil work I've seen is just so pretty. So, and since I loved this book so much, I would totally be down to get another copy and get the UK version, but I do have the US one obviously, and it's still really pretty. I mean, it still made me pick up the book, but if I had to choose, I would definitely pick the UK version for this one. Okay, and then the Throne of Glass series. I didn't read it back to back, but I thought it would be easier just to go ahead and put them together. These are the new covers that they re-released this year, and they're fairly similar, but the UK versions have this grayscale effect on it. I personally love the US version of this. I know that some people don't like these, think it looks a little bit too sci-fi, but I think they're stunning, and I really want to get myself a collection of this cover series or whatever you want to call it, and so I definitely like the US version better without that grayscaling, but I mean, I wouldn't turn down the UK versions. But yeah, I just think the rich color and the vibrancy of the US versions are just really beautiful, so I would prefer those. Okay, and then we have the Emily Henry whole multiverse. I don't know, the Emily Henry verse. I don't know. I really like both versions. Obviously I have the US versions of all of these. I know that the UK versions were available on Amazon for a little bit, and I seriously considered getting them. I mean, the US versions have such like nostalgia, I think, for me, because those are the ones that I read, but if I saw both of them my first time and got to choose, I'd probably pick the UK versions. They're just so colorful and vibrant, but I don't know, I really like the solid color primary, well, not primary colors, but the solid color backgrounds of the US version, so they're both good. I'd say these are about even for me. Okay, and then we have Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I didn't love this book. I honestly don't even own it. I read it from the library, but I absolutely love the UK version. I think also it came out in paperback faster than the US one. I don't think the US one is even in paperback yet. I think the UK one just shows that retro vibe of like the gaming industry a little bit better than the US one. And for that reason, I would pick the UK version for this one. When I saw the US version at first, I really didn't care for it. I think it's just really disturbing, which obviously, having read it and recognizing that it's a thriller, I know that like that was the point, but I definitely don't like this UK version. I don't really know what's happening. I think it's trying to go for a more like sterile, like interrogating room type vibe. I don't like that nearly as much. I definitely like the US version. Also because we get looks into her journal, and the right one kind of has this paper quality to it, and so for all of those reasons I prefer the US version. Now we have A River Enchanted. I adore both of these versions. These are both the newer released covers. They used to look like this. I'll put it on the screen. But I really love both of these. I'm obsessed with these new US covers. They're fairly similar to the UK versions. There's some coloring differences, but as much as I love the US versions, there's a sort of whimsy and like magical quality that the UK covers have that I think I might like a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, it's just stunning, and I would love to have that on my shelves. I mean, of course, like I said, I love, love, love the US version that I have, but yeah, something about the more like fluid, like whimsical vibe of the UK covers is just really, really calling to me. So I think the UK one wins in this case. And then of course we have the second book in that duology, A Fire Endless. I think the same goes for this. Like I said, the covers are pretty much the same, but there is that more like fluid, like whimsical, wild quality that the UK version has that I think just really, really takes the cake. Okay, and then we have the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, which I read just a couple months ago for the first time, and I stand by that the UK versions are so much better than the US ones. The US ones aren't bad by any means, but this trilogy is very storybook, fairy tale-esque in its fantasy style, and I think that the UK covers just communicate that so much better. I didn't pick up the US versions for such a long time just because I mean, the covers aren't really telling me anything, but if I saw those UK covers in stores, I would have bought them and snatched them up immediately. So I definitely think those are better, but yeah. So I plan to get my hands on those one day, but not yet. Okay, and then also by Stephanie Garber, we have the Caraval trilogy, which I have not finished reading yet, but I am currently on Legendary and I'm doing a video reading vlog with those, so I will definitely finish them before the end of the year. I think that both of these covers are really good. I have grown to really like the US ones. I think that the vibrancy of the colors I really like. I mean, I keep saying that, but that's something that I've really grown to love. But I have a picture on the bottom right of the spines of the UK versions, and that's what puts them over the top for me. I just love that like carnival-y vibe that they have going. It shows that more like carnival-y, trickstery type of vibe that these books at least have been giving so far, and the more like whimsical. I mean, Stephanie Garber's writing is very lyrical and whimsical, and I think that the UK versions for both of these trilogies just communicate that a little bit better. So yeah, I love the US ones. This one's closer than the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy ones, but I really, really love the UK versions of this too. Okay, and then of course, as we all know, the third Crescent City is coming out in January, and so I am currently on my reread. I love the US versions of these. I think that they are stunning and so intricate, and the more you look at it, the more you see, and so I definitely think those win for me because of that. But the UK versions of these are also just really stunning in their simplicity, and so I mean, I would love to have the UK covers and the UK covers on my shelf as well. So they're both good, but I would not trade the US versions for the UK ones. Okay, and then last but not least, we have the Letters of Enchantment duology. I have not yet read this, but I am going to. I'm going to read it and then read Ruthless Vows as soon as it comes out later this month in December. This might be a hot take. I know not everyone loves like cartoony characters on covers, but the UK versions of this book, or these books, are so good. You can't tell me that there isn't so much emotion shown in this duology and those covers versus the US ones. I don't even know what the US ones are trying to communicate. I think her name's Iris, and those are irises on the cover, but I don't know. I mean, maybe once I actually read them, I'll have a better understanding, but I love the UK versions, so I would definitely prefer to have those, but you know, in a perfect world. But yeah, those are all the books that I've read this year with alternate covers. I will be doing another video later on with a full 2023 recap, but for now, those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff, and turn on notifications. We are posting a new video every single day of December leading up to Christmas, and so yeah, I wouldn't want you to miss out. Love ya. Bye.